everybody. You know what time it is. The Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. Bam! Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons. We're very thankful to those of you who decided to join us here on multiple platforms. That's right. Did I say multiple? Let me say it again. Multiple platforms. We are on the following. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitch. We are on Twitter TV. And we're on the Roku channel. That's right. We're on the Roku channel. You go to Tiki Live and get Phoenix Entertainment Group. And voila, you'll find us broadcasting to you right here and right now. So again, please follow us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports 7. I'll flash it back up for you again one more time. Bam! At Real Talk Sports 7. Follow the show. Follow me personally at Minister J. Sim. Well, you guys already know how we do it. Anytime we bring on this show, we bring on one of the most beautiful women in sports talk radio or TV. We simply call her the Queen. Tree Dolman is in the building. Queen, welcome back.
Hi, Jonathan. Hi, everybody.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much. What's going on with you?
Hey, just a lot of excitement this weekend. Big weekend, huge weekend. Really, it's funny. We had a big sports weekend, but lots of stuff going on away from the field of sports. I think we had weddings. We had a huge women's, well, there were some men there too because I was there, women's empowerment conference up in Buckhead. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. And of course, high school football and more high school football. So definitely a big weekend. Definitely a big weekend.
Yes, it definitely was a big weekend.
A lot of fun. So now, did you get a chance to catch any sports at all, or were you just like busy like a bee?
Busy. So no, I did not get to watch any sports this weekend.
All right, no worries. That's okay. I think that between Tyrone and myself, we watch quite a bit. Of course, for those of you who don't know, we actually do the live stream broadcast for Terra Stadium. That's in Clayton County. And we actually had something unique. We actually had a Saturday night game at Clayton County and Terra Stadium. And also, of course, it was the kickoff for the Corky Kell Classic. I should say kickoff for high school football, the Corky Kell Classic. Tree, can you believe they played 11 games in 4 days?
I know. That's a lot of football.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah, just definitely incredible. Well, tonight, what are we going to talk about, guys? We got a couple of things. We'll talk a little bit about the Bravos. I got a chance to see the first time this season, the Braves, and of course, a great game they squared off against the Metropolitans. Of course, I'm talking about the New York Mets, who are in first place, and the Braves, you hosted them for a 4-game series. We'll talk a little bit about that. Also, get some WNBA updates from you as far as what's going on with the playoffs and playoff seeding. In the NBA, the question I have for everyone is KD and Kyrie, are they tarnishing their legacy by all the shenanigans going on between them and the Nets, or maybe not? Of course, we talked about high school football. We're going to get into that a little bit with Corky Kell. I have some great highlights from that. College football, $8 billion contract, the Big Ten. Are we going to eventually get to 2? Look, there we go. There we go again.
I'm just saying, go Big Ten, go Big Ten.
Wow. $8 million, just a huge contract, never been signed before. And so the question is, hey, are we eventually going to morph into these 2 big, giant super conferences, maybe SEC and Big Ten? And at some point, is the NCAA going to go away? or
I
we'll
doubt
see
it.
that. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And of course, when Tyrone comes on, we'll talk a little bit about HBCU football. Big stuff coming on in the next 2 weeks as far as HBCU with some huge classic games. And last but not least, our man D. Orlando Ledbetter is back from New York to talk to us about what's happening with the Falcons and the quarterback duel between Desmond Ritter and Marcus Mariota. Who is looking better right now? But first, before we get to that, Tree, I know you were busy running around, but give us a little update about your ladies in the WNBA.
Well, we are in the first round of playoffs. The main thing that I want to talk about is a lot of coaches and some of the players are not really happy with the way that this first round of the playoffs are going. So if you were the top seed in the first round, then the first two games were played at home, and then the third game was played away at the lower seed's home. And a lot of the coaches thought that that was a problem because they felt that it should be home, away, home. That way, the best team that has the highest record could close out on their home turf. But that's not the way that the WNBA is doing it this year. First two games are at the top seeds home, and then the last game is played at the lower seeds home. Well, the funny part about that is we all know what Tyrone was saying about the New York Liberty and how he thought they should have a shot. A lot of people, including myself, thought that the Chicago Sky would beat them 2-0. That has not happened. They are split. Chicago won a game, the New York Liberty won a game. So now what's happening? The game tonight is being played in New York, and whoever wins that is moving on to the next round of the WNBA playoffs. So this will be very interesting to see how this all ends with these two teams. It will also be very interesting to see if the WNBA decides to change this next year and go with a home away home schedule as opposed to the first two matches or games at home and then the final game away with the lower seed. So it'll be very interesting to see. I will be looking to see who wins this game tonight. Again, I am shocked. I definitely thought that the Chicago Sky would beat them 2-0. And so the fact that they are split now and playing the final game in New York, we may be looking at an upset here.
Yeah, it could be a big shocker. I mean, at the end of the day, Liberty, they're not foreign to the playoffs. Certainly, over the last decade or so, they've been to the playoffs on several occasions. So we're going to look for them to kind of see what they can do. Yeah, but it's kind of tough, Tree, because at some point you say, how many games do we want to play in the earlier rounds? Because you still want to reward the teams for playing well during the regular season. So that's going to be an interesting tipping point. How they're going to do it now in the finals? Are they up to 7 games now in the finals? Or are they still doing 5 games?
No, it's the best of 5.
Best of 5, yeah. See, so it might be if they're going to do that, they're going to have to then increase the finals to it's like the men best of 7. I'm not sure they want to do that or not. So it's definitely going to be some interesting stuff to see kind of what happens, with the WNBA and cool stuff that's going on there. Speaking of that, big shout out to Rusha Brown. I believe she was part of. I think she might have peeked into the big event that Renee Noor was having that we went to, this women's empowerment conference, Power to Soar. And also I saw it flash all over social media that another, I'm not sure if she played in the WNBA. I think she played for just a split second, but we certainly saw one of the players, and I'm kind of, my name is, and she'll get mad at me because she actually was on my show, but I saw her in her wedding dress go floating by beautifully on Instagram. So definitely a lot of WNBA players were in town for that big wedding event as well. So good stuff going on with the ladies.
A very nice wedding.
Yep, good stuff going on with the ladies, and I mean, it seems like we're seeing more. And I know the ladies say, look, we'd like to get closer to the money that the men are making, but we are at least seeing some increase, even in NILs. We're seeing that women's sports are making getting some of that money that's being passed around to the fellas. So kudos to you ladies for, kind of slowly but surely getting more of a share of the pie of all this money that's floating around here in the world of sports and sports marketing. Big ups. So definitely good stuff going on. So the other thing is the Braves. They are basically nipping at the heels of the New York Metropolitan. Of course, that stands for the Mets. Let's take a look here at the standings. I'm going to pop it on here with Major League Baseball. But I got a chance to see the Braves get some payback If you remember, a couple of weeks ago, the Braves strolled into City Park, or essentially City Field, where the Mets are at home, and the Mets took 3 out of 4. The Braves said, no problem, we'll return the favor. And they, in fact, did the same thing here at Truist Park. They took 3 out of 4. Right now, the standings are, well, you can't get too much closer. Thanks to that 3 out of 4 um, series win by the Braves are now back to just within 3 games of the New York Mets for first place in the Eastern Division standings. So it looks like this one's going to be a dogfight right down to the wire. We look around the rest of the league. It seems that also the Braves have themselves in pretty good shape as far as the wild card right now. If everything stopped today, it looks like they would be in securely as the #1 wild card spot, with right now the Brewers and the Padres battling it out for that second seed as well. And the Phillies also right in that mix. So yeah, I think the Braves, basically are going to take this thing. And I do really believe they're going to end up winning the Eastern Division crown.
I do, and I'm hoping that they do. I would love to see them repeat. I was very happy for the city of Atlanta and the Atlanta Braves with how well they played last season. And I do think that they have the opportunity to repeat, which we know is very difficult to do in professional sports. Well, not even just in professional sports, in any sport, it's hard to repeat. But I think that the Braves have what it takes to do it. So I'm really pulling for them and rooting for them. I'm hoping that they can do a repeat and just bring another championship, another World Series to Atlanta.
Well, right now, Tree, as you know, they're red hot after taking 3 or 4 from the Mets. Their opponents from last year's World Series, the Astros, rolled into town, and the Braves gave them pretty much the same medicine. Took 3 or 4 from them as well. So it's definitely going to be interesting. And the Phillies, who were behind them by only about 3 games, they won yesterday, and they're ahead today 5-1 here in the middle of the 6th inning. And what you like about this team is that it's interesting how they have taken a tack of saying, hey, we want the hometown heroes. If you look at the Braves lineups, you got a lot of guys in this lineup that played their high school baseball here right in Atlanta. We look at Dansby Swanson, a big hero out from Cobb County. We look at Michael Harris, who played right down the road from us here in Stockbridge. And we look certainly at Vaughn Grissom, another guy who is, has some impact here as a young guy coming up. And last but not least, their big bat at the cleanup position, Matt Olson, played right up the road in Gwinnett County. So, yeah, man, the Braves, it's interesting how they kind of seem like they wanted to go in that direction. And it almost seems like it's actually saved them in salaries, because it looks like these guys, of course, because of their youth, are not making some of the big money that may save maybe a Freddie Freeman or some of the other free agents that they had there. So kudos to the Braves for being able to put together this dynamite squad and using a lot of hometown heroes.
Yeah, well, one thing that I love about Atlanta, which I learned when I first moved here, is that, my goodness, Georgia is known for baseball and football. Those 2 teams, those 2 sports, the children start young, and they are very serious about youth sports, and they are very serious about their children going to the pros. And some of the children, that's their goals as well. And so it's nice to see that the Braves have hometown talent on their rosters, kids that grew up watching the Braves, and their goal was to one day play for the Atlanta Braves. And so it's a dream come true to see so many guys on the roster playing for the team that they watched growing up, and they watched most of their lives. And now they're wearing those jerseys that they dreamed of putting on.
I know that was big stuff. And for the minor league guys coming through, a lot of these guys actually played for the manager of the team now, Brian Snitker. So that's another thing. It just seems like there's a kind of familiarity, kind of like almost like kind of a family vibe that they have here with this team. And like I said, again, it's allowed them to get great players. And I think to some degree, great players on a discount. Both Ronald Acuna Jr. and Ozzie Albies, they signed huge contracts. But if you look at them in comparison to some of the other guys in their age bracket, you look at guys like, or just a little bit older than them, you look at guys like Bryce Harper, or you look at, Tatis out in San Diego. These guys are making way more money than what these guys are making. But these guys look like they understand that, hey, obviously I want to make a lot of money, but I also want to win some World Series and have some fun while doing it. So again, kudos to the Braves and the organization by able to end up sport as a business, keep a little fun in the situation. So big shout out to them for doing that. But speaking of fun, we can't have fun unless we have sponsors. So we're going to take a little break. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a minute. Don't go nowhere. Please stay tuned. Thank you. Don't go.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net. The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice.
All right, folks, we're back. You are watching or listening to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons, and right next to me is the lovely and always beautiful Miss Tree Dolman. We simply know her by as the Queen because she is a three-time defending queen. So you don't get that everywhere, boys. It's, you know, right?
3-year reigning queen.
That's what I'm talking about. 3-year reign. So I'll pop this question up here on social media. I want to ask you guys that are watching here. Here is the question. Okay, do you think that KD and or Kyrie might be tarnishing their reputation with all the shenanigans going on, going back and forth with the Nets about I want the coach to be fired. I'm not coming back. Coach stays. Well, I'm going to come back anyway. I want to play the winner. All this kind of back and forth. Tree, what do you think? Is this going to tarnish their legacy down the road, or you think, hey, this is the way things are nowadays?
No, I do not see it tarnishing them at all because it doesn't matter what goes on behind the scenes. When you talk about great players, you talk about what they do on the court. You talk about how many championships or if they're MVP. Those are the things that you talk about. You talk about the way that they play. Every player behind the scenes is asking for this and asking for that. There's been a lot of players that wanted coaches fired or GMs fired or different things. That's definitely, in my opinion, not going to tarnish their legacy because their legacy is what they do on the court.
Put that question out in social media here. There you guys see it. As a matter of fact, we're going to do something a little different. It's always a little dicey. We're going to do it anyway. Like Zoom, we're going to go ahead and put on the link for you guys to join the broadcast. That's right. You can come on here now. If you're saying, hey, I don't want to have my video on here, you don't have to. Just like Zoom, you can come in. It'll be like you calling into the show. I'll pop it up here on the screen. It is on social media right here. Bam, there it is. Just copy that link and paste it. You can go on and do it via your cell phone. If you are going to do it via the cell phone, I would suggest you use your headset, and that might eliminate some static and echo if you do decide to come on. And the same thing, obviously, you're going on your computer, use a headset. That'll be the best way to do it.
Yes, and what do you think, Jonathan?
Oh, for me, yeah. So before I answer that, I'm going to bring up. I see somewhere in the green room a legend, a man that spent over a decade in the NFL. He is not one but two-time Super Bowl champion, and he is now residing in the Fort Valley State Sports Hall of Fame. He's an all-around good guy. On top of that, the one and only number 38, Tyrone Poole, is back in the building. Welcome back, sir.
How we doing, everybody? Hello, Tree. Hello, Jonathan. Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody in television and radio land.
Yes, sir. Yes,
How
sir.
we doing?
We doing good, sir. Good to see you. Tree,
right.
Looks like Tyrone got a little change of scenery back there.
He does.
Yes, indeed.
Background.
Hey, yes, sir, Mr. Poole.
Yeah, to switch it up every once in a while.
Hey,
yeah,
listen,
likewise.
Got to do a little something. Keep the energy going. Keep them guessing. Yes, sir. Well, hey, what we're talking about right now is the question is KD and Kyrie kind of they're going back and forth with, hey, we want to be on the team, fire the coach. Yeah, I want to go to another team, or no, I'm going to stay now. They're going to keep the coach. Is this kind of stuff going back and forth going to tarnish either one of their legacies? Yes or no? What do you think?
Really, I haven't heard too much about it. It's my first time hearing about it. So I guess what I would say is just, when you're, you shouldn't take personal matters into the workplace. It doesn't serve anyone any good. Actually, it just makes, especially professional athletes, just make you look a little bit childish. I'm like, handle your affairs privately and keep everything else, like they say in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So that's all I'll say to that.
Yes, for me, man, I just think that at the end of the day, I mean, I know LeBron kind of changed the template as far as saying, hey, a star player can kind of basically call the shots. Um, I just think in the case of KD, and you've mocked him, well, not mocked him, but you've certainly used the meme. Everybody else has mocked him several times that we got a runner. It just seems like
Nah, let's go back. It was Shannon. Let's go back. That's Shannon.
no,
Shannon
I
put that
said
out there.
no. I
Yeah,
didn't. I
yeah.
corrected myself. I said, hey, you repeating what
Shannon
someone else
Sharp.
said. Yep, I've been Shannon Sharp. Let's get his name out there. Call him a runner. Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm just thinking, hey, the KD is. I mean, the guy's a legendary player. I mean, I was watching a video where it talked about when he first practiced with the professional Olympians, and they really didn't know kind of how good he was, and they said he just lit him up. And I just think the guy is such a great player to kind of skip around like this. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm not used to seeing that, and to me, it doesn't it doesn't seem to fit his character because he always seemed like to be like a low key guy, more like a team type guy. And now, as his career is coming to an end, it just seems like he's kind of all over the place. So for me, I don't think it'll tarnish it greatly because history has a way of we kind of gloss over a lot of stuff. But I do think it looks kind of crazy for him to do it, and even some of the shenanigans that Kyrie does. So yeah, to me, it'll tarnish it a little bit, and really to me, it looks kind of crazy.
Well, he's still a team guy. So how does this not make him a team guy?
Well, I guess the whole idea, I don't like the idea of, and maybe he didn't say it, but the rumors are that he talked about either him or Kyrie talked about, getting rid of the coach, and it might have been Kyrie versus KD, or kind of like, I'm not going to play. It just seems like there's been a lot of drama, with those two being over there with the Nets. So, maybe it's just perception. Maybe it's not as big as what I think, but it just seems like between those two guys, a lot of dramas for two, basically the greatest players I've seen in this era.
Yeah, I
So
get
very,
that, but
very
he's
disappointing.
still a team player, and that's what one of the things I like about KD. When everybody was talking about Ben and different things, and he stood up for him, and he stands up for his teammates. He always supports his teammates. He doesn't say anything negative in the media. He is a team player, regardless of what people like or don't like about what is going on as far as their negotiations. He is a team player.
Gotcha. Okay, we will take that as the point made by the Queen. So basically, it looks like we're kind of what we say we want to get, like we're kind of like a tie that we think that it may probably not do anything to his legacy. I'm looking for you guys now to comment here on social media and pop it up here. What do you think here? Again, if you want to join the show, there is the link. You see it there. And the question is, do you think that all the shenanigans going on with the New York Nets would tarnish the legacy of either one of these gentlemen who, again, at least in the last 10 or 15 years, certainly rank amongst the best players that we've seen on the hardwood? So what do you guys think? If you want to join in here, I'll pop it up one time. Bam. That's it. Copy that link, paste it. We'd love to hear your voice on the show, or put your comments on the screen as you always do. Speaking of KD, it also came out that I guess the Hawks actually made an attempt to trade for him, but the package was not quite as appealing as the Nets wanted, so it did not go through. Tree, I know you like your Hawks, and so do I. What do you think about that? And especially if they would have had to give up maybe your man John Collins and a couple other pieces, even in terms of DeAndre Hunter, to try to get KD, would you have not allowed them? Would you have been in favor of pulling the trigger for that, or would you have been comfortable with them staying with what they got?
I'm always comfortable with them staying with what they have. At the same token, I don't want John Collins to leave. Everybody knows that. He's the player that has been with the Hawks the longest out of everybody on the roster. I think that he brings great energy with defense and his offense and just excites the rest of the team and gets the crowd going. But I also realize that for whatever reason, the Atlanta Hawks keep mentioning him in a trade. And it's been numerous times in the past few months and during this season. So for whatever reason, I don't know why they want to get rid of him. Only they know what's going on inside with the team. But if they are going to trade him for somebody, KD is definitely not a bad shot and not a bad choice, because we all know what KD brings to any team that he plays on, and he is a phenomenal player, one of the best to ever play in the NBA.
Well, no doubt. We want to give a big shout out to a guy that I think Tyrone may know him well. One of our buddies from Clubhouse, Pastor Jeff, in the building on YouTube. Say, hey, I'm just listening. We appreciate you, brother, for tuning in. and joining us here on tonight. Tyrone, what do you think if the Hawks could have put together a trade, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, maybe a draft pick or two to get in KD? Would you have been in favor with that trade? Yes or no, sir?
Look, at the end of the day, this is why we play the game, as Herm Edwards says. You play the game to win. So whatever you can do to put the best chemistry together to win, that's what you do. It's not what the fans think, because at the end of the day, if you win a championship, everybody's gonna be happy. All right, let's just call the facts a fact. So whatever is the best chemistry to put together, whatever the budget for the team can handle, then that's what you do. If you can spend the money, then go get it. We've seen teams try it and unsuccessfully do it. We saw the Washington back in the day, the Washington Redskins, now the Washington Commanders. They try to go buy a championship, and we've seen it be successful, where the Los Angeles Rams did. They went out and they bought talent and they won. Okay, probably was a lot of pressure, because when you go out and spend all that money, you better win. So I'm an advocate of whatever it takes to win. That's what you do. That's within the rules. So if bringing in a high caliber player that's where you spend your money, that's where you go spend your money. Because at the end of the day, it's not about trying to please the city, the fans. It's about winning a championship. If you win a championship, the city and the fans will be pleased.
Oh, no doubt. Everybody loves a winner. Ain't no doubt about it. Yeah, so as far as the KD thing, it would definitely been interesting. KD and Trey go way back, from when, Trey was a little kid. So it definitely been interesting here. It would have been, I would have been like Trey, a bit sad to see John Collins and DeAndre Hunter go. These were guys that kind of, especially John, kind of started this whole thing about 5 or 6 years ago. But at the end of the day, it didn't happen. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on now with this Hawk team. Tree, anything that you think they could, I shouldn't say anything, what would you like to see them add to this team as they go forward to try to make their quest to be a championship team? What position would you want to see? Bigs? Would you want to see guard play? What would you like to see brought in here to try to help this team get to that?
I would like to see some more bigs personally. Okay. I think it would have been nice if we could have got Rudy Gobert. That didn't work out. But you definitely always can use more bigs. We have great guards. We know that Trae Young is his show. This is his team, and everybody else, they build around him. And so because he runs the show, I always want to see more bigs. The rebounding, the dunks, the block shots, it just ignites the team and also just helps us with those rebounds, which we know when you get rebounds, that also equates to more points. So I'm always going for the bigs, especially since that's my favorite two positions on the court.
And I'll piggyback off of what Tree is saying or add to it. I think the key in winning championships today, whether it's in life or in sports, is called adjustment. That one word, adjustment. And you don't want to go totally big and you don't want to go totally small. You want to have a team that's balanced. So if you're playing against a team that loves to run the court, say if you were playing back in the 80s, I know there's a lot of people watching that probably love the 80s basketball. You had the Lakers, they were fast breaking all day. So if you were a big team, then they were going to run you right out the court. And then when you went up against a team like the Boston Celtics, they were going to play the half court game on you. Try to get the bigs, like Tree said, and just back you down and just turn around and do jumpers. So in today's game, you have to be able to make adjustments. So you want to be able to have big, the ability to play in the paint, play that half court game, and also have the ability to put a fast paced team out there to take advantage. So it's called guerrilla warfare, as they say it.
Tyrone want to attack them from the north to south, the east, and the west. Yeah, so to me, look at the team. Yeah, I think the only thing they might want to get is maybe one more big. I'll be candid with you. This guy, DeJounte Murray, he looks like he's an interesting combination of not only giving you some scoring punch in the backcourt, giving you a guy that gives you some great defensive help on some point guards that sometimes Trey struggles against, but also watching him kind of in the preseason and some of the games in the Drew League, look like he got a little bit of that nasty in him. So I think right now maybe you might want to get one more big, but I'm gonna run with what we got. Yeah, I kind of like the way the team is constructed right now. And I think they got a good shot to do what they did a couple of years ago, to make a deep run in the playoffs and shock some people. I think this team is, like I said, I think Murray's a big, big, big key. I think it's going to even rejuvenate, John Collins in his play. because I think you're going to see John get more of those alley-oop type plays where he's not just on the perimeter, which, I mean, don't be wrong, to his credit, he's done a phenomenal job in bringing up. Yeah, I mean, for a guy that basically was known as, I don't want to say known as a dunker, but a guy that you primarily knew as an around the basket guy, for him to get out there and become, I don't want to say a fearful 3-point shooter, but certainly a guy you could just leave out there. And
he definitely had a nice 3-point average, and he made a lot of key 3-pointers.
So at the end of the day, kudos to him. But I do think that his strength is around the basket. And you saw a little bit of that in the Drew League with them looking like they're getting back to alley-oop. Look like him and Trey might be doing some rebounding, again. So, yeah, I just think that this team is sky's the limit. Yeah. Flash it up there again, Tree, one more time. Flash it up there. There you go.
You grab those boards. You got to get those elbows out. Grab the ball.
You go. And, hey, let's not forget this either. In basketball, just like any sport, you're only as good as your bench. You're only as good as your backup. And basketball is very, very prevalent that you have a bench. So, yes, you can go get big people as starters, but then you got to have big people on the bench too. So when that guy gets tired, you still can run your particular offense that you're running, or defensive style doesn't change. So if you're going to get the starters, you better make sure you got a good backup that complements that big starter.
Well, no doubt with the coming on of Okongwu, I mean, he definitely, he's a little thin, but he definitely seems like he will not back down against anybody. I watched him against some players that physically were bigger. He stood his ground, good rebounder. Again, very much like John Collins, can really attack over the rim. So, yeah, man, I just think the team is going to do some damage as we move forward to the rest of the season. Well, you guys are going to have to keep it locked right here. We're going to do some damage too, but we got to take a break. All right, so we'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions, or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
We're back here with the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Minister Jonathan Simmons. Right next to me is the lovely queen, Miss Tree Dolman. And right beneath the both of us is the champion, two-time Super Bowl champion, Mr. Tyrone Poole. Well, Tyrone, I know, sir, that you would have enjoyed this just explosion of high school football this weekend. I was telling Tree earlier, you had 11 games in 4 days. And then Clayton County followed up with about another 4 games in 2 days. Yeah, it was just off the chain, sir. I think I asked you last week. You guys, I don't think they had the Corky Kell Classic at the time you were playing. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think I said no, they didn't. Yes, but
correct.
No, they didn't have it. Yes.
Well, let's see if we can get a clip here. Our good buddy that does a lot of stuff for us, Jason, my cameraman, was actually there on the scene. I'm trying to see if I can play you guys a little bit of highlights here from the Corky Kell Classic. First game was a good one. On Saturday morning, it was McEachern from out of Cobb County against North Connect. It was a little bit on the slide, but still some pretty interesting stuff going on. So let's take a look and see if we can look at some of the highlights here as we can share the screen. Stay with us here as we do this right now, taking a look at the Corky Kell Classic. Great stuff going on there with them. And we're going to pop them in here right now. Here we go.
what was that Mercedes-Benz?
So, yep, definitely some good stuff there. High school, as you can see, getting into it, man. Got to be a thrill for those guys, Tyrone, to be out there on the Mercedes-Benz field where the Falcons play. What do you think is going through the heads of some of those guys, man, when you get out there and playing in a game like this, especially when they kick off the season?
Yeah, those guys playing at that early age in a big venue that professional athletes play in. So it's kind of like, I guess, them saying that they're in love. You ever said when you were young, you're in love, you don't really know what you're talking about. So it's like for them to play in the Mercedes-Benz, it's like a whoa, I can't believe I got a girlfriend. I can't believe that she says she loves me. So it's like they can't believe that they're playing where some of the greats that they watch on television play, and to dress out in those locker rooms, which I'm pretty sure they have several locker rooms in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So it's not like they dress out in the Atlanta Falcons locker room and everything like that. But just to be inside the venue, just to walk out, because there's a real big difference between the size of a high school stadium, and then you walk into that Mercedes-Benz Stadium and you see the big jumbo screens and all of the lighting and everything that goes on with it and all those seats. So I'm pretty sure for those guys, it's a real big like smiling from cheek to cheek. And for the parents, those freshman parents, of course, the sophomore, juniors, and senior parents, they're kind of used to it. Those teams that played on a regular basis, but those freshman parents and those freshman players, those are the ones that really, got a real big kick out of it this weekend.
I actually almost went to the game. I was supposed to go to the game and watch Norcross play Saturday, but at the last minute I pulled out. But I didn't realize that that's what that was. I was just going to support a friend.
Oh yeah, it's a huge event. They play it every year. They try to get matchups where some of the better teams, square off like some of the teams that you'll see later on in the state playoffs. So yeah, just kudos to them. And my cameraman says actually the initial one was in 1992. So yeah, over the years they've grown. Matter of fact, last year we got a chance to see them do something they'd never done before. The legendary high school out of Alabama, Hoover High School, became the first out-of-town team, out-of-state team to play in the Classic last year. And ironically, they played against North Gwinnett in the tournament. So, yeah, man, that Corky Cal is big stuff. But kudos to Clayton County. They had all their rivalry games on this weekend. And for the first time, they had a triple header on Saturday. They had a 12 noon game, a 1 o'clock game, and a game we covered at 7, as we heard last week. As coach simply referred to them playing the team around the corner, refusing to name the Mount Zion Bulldogs, who were their foes. And unfortunately for the Bulldogs, it was once again a blowout, as it has been the last couple of years. Jonesboro winning the game easily, 40-13, and just kind of got away from Mount Zion. They had some opportunities to score early, and Tyrone, you know how it is. If you mess up those early opportunities, yeah, especially against a team better than you, it usually will go to the left. Now, Todd, as always likes to kind of get into it, Tyrone. I'm not sure what's going on. He's asking, he says, hey, is Tyrone really running his highlights on TV behind him?
Yes.
LOL. Yes, he said, yeah.
Yes,
Right.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. See, that's, again, that's history. Again, I'm proud of it because HBCU. So when people look at it, I want them to think HBCU, okay? Fort Valley State. Everything I do it to showcase not myself, but the fact that when people see me, they got to think about HBCU. When they see me, they got to think about Fort Valley State. So in order to keep Fort Valley State and HBCUs on the map, that's what we have to do. We have to show people that we are there. Because they're going to ask, who is that? Oh, that's Tyrone Poole. Okay, Tyrone Poole, is that the guy that went to Fort Valley State? So they get opportunity to say Fort Valley State in their name. So again, Todd, what they call it is called advertising.
I'm advertised right now. I'm gonna let y'all see that. You can see the highlights very clearly behind him right there. And that is Tyrone playing, I think at that point with the Patriots. And really,
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
and the thing about it is that now we're making jokes, but the bottom line is this is really serious. This is one of the things that Tyrone tries to get across every week, that Deion Sanders tries to get across on a national platform, that there's a lot of talented players in the HBCU. And it's really a great thing. I know, Tyrone, you're very pleased to see the expansion of TV coverage this year. I think they're doing over 100 games. Did I hear that right?
Well, it's good that it's getting exposure, but it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Of course, they're going to show the bigger HBCU schools. It's kind of like when you look at Division I. You got these other conferences that don't get an opportunity to be shown because they're showing the SEC, or they're showing the teams out west, or they're showing the ACC. So, if you're Appalachian State, you don't get a lot of coverage. But you're considered the Division I team. So, yes, they're giving HBCUs coverage, but the thing is, until they cover everybody, then they still haven't done justice. But it's good to see that they are willing to cover. Now, I got to say this, I'll give coverage. Now, I got to say this, shouts out to former Commissioner Moore of the SIAC. What we see now, Commissioner Moore had already done that for the SIAC. We were getting ESPN coverage for the last, 4 years. So what you see doing now, Commissioner Moore, who retired and he's a former lawyer, he's going into practice, he had already established that. So kudos to Commissioner Moore for already seeing what people are beginning to see now.
And Tyrone, you, if I'm not mistaken, sir, you over the years have been part of that ESPN coverage.
Yes.
Covering those games and bringing SIAC right into our living rooms each and every Saturday, man. So, I mean, you ought to know because you're right there on the ground floor. I'm going to try to share the screen again here so you guys can kind of get a glimpse of the other thing they talk about, which HBCU schools, which is the legendary halftime shows. I'm going to try to see if I can get a little bit of the Jackson State band from the Celebration Bowl last year. Let's see if we can kind of get a little bit of a look at this clip here. And hopefully you guys can see it here as I kind of was behind the band. And hopefully I can share the screen, let you guys take a look at the action here. What's going on here with the HBCUs. Let's try to share our screen. We're doing a little screen sharing. And like I said, hopefully you guys will be able to see this as we take a look at a little bit from behind the Jackson State band. Let's see if we can take a look and get a little bit of what they were doing. Let's see if we can get it. Okay, here we go. And right now it says, I'm going to freeze the frame. Here we go. Let's try to get it. That was just a little bit before my camera kind of drifted off to the left. But yeah, it's really big stuff when you go to HBCU games, because not only are you seeing great play on the field, but certainly, man, the halftime show is must-see TV as well. And speaking of that, Tyrone, like you said, we got big games coming in the next 2 weeks. Right here in Atlanta, we got Howard University squaring off against, I believe it's Alabama State. And we look forward to bringing that to you this Saturday, doing some coverage of the game at 7 o'clock. So if you guys haven't got your tickets yet, tickets are still available. They're playing at the Park Stadium, which used to be the old Turner Field, which is now the Georgia State home field. So get out there and support that. And if you want to be take a little trip down to South Beach for Labor Day weekend, we got the Orange Blossom Classic with Jackson State taking on FAMU. So y'all want to pack up and go to that. Or matter of fact, if you want to support the minister's trip, my Cash App is okay. I'm sorry. Let me get back. let me get back to the situation here. So, but no, on the serious tip, if y'all do want to give some, okay, let me leave it alone. All right. One more time here. Again, if you want to be a part of the show, I'm gonna pop this up on the screen for you here. This is the link to come on. Again, if you don't want to come on the screen, you say, look, I just want to say something. No problem. There it is. Paste that link into your phone, and we'll be more than happy to pop you on and let us be a part of the broadcast. Again, you're watching the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be back with more in just a moment, because now we're going to shift to a little college football and, of course, the NFL. So we want to see what you guys have to say about it. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Don't go nowhere. Thank you.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our #1 priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
We're back here with the Real Talk Sports Show. We are in the building here. Like you said, again, we're right next to the Queen. And we are also right beneath us there. Mr. Tyrone Poole is in the building as well. And like I said, guys, if you get a chance, please support HBCU football. Lots of great stuff that's going on right now. Like I said, again, some huge games. Should be lots of fun. And like I said, again, if you want to get down right here in Atlanta, it will be the Howard Bisons against Alabama State. And if you want to, again, travel down the road to Miami on Labor Day weekend, it will be the big Orange Blossom Classic, the Jackson State against FAMU. So two legendary programs going at it down there in Miami. I think it's going to be must-see TV as well. All right, anytime we like to talk football, especially the NFL, we like to bring in a gentleman. He is an award-winning sports writer. He is the official beat writer for the AJC Sports in Atlanta for our Atlanta Falcons, and he is Esquire par excellence. I'm speaking about the one and only D. Orlando Ledbetter is back in the building. D. Led, what's going on, sir?
Hey, Reverend, how you doing? Thanks for having me on the show tonight. Hello, Miss Tree and Tyrone. Glad to be back.
D-Led. How you doing, buddy?
All right, how y'all doing?
Hey, man.
Great.
Good to be in the building, sir. Like I said, it's been a football palooza this last weekend, man. I said to myself, I said, man, I'm about to take what's that old stuff you take back in the day when you were old? What was that stuff called again?
Geritol.
Geritol, that's it.
I don't know anything about that.
Buddy boy, because I'm saying the preacher man was on the run. So, but again, it was good stuff. Enjoyed the football. And again, big shout out to my buddy. We simply call the beautiful one, Renee Knorr, for her Power to Soar conference. Had a great time out there at the very stylish and elegant Thompson Hotel in Buckhead. I was rolling with the big boys for a second there.
Mm-hmm.
So feeling some kind of way. But anyway, all that being said, yeah, we appreciate that. So, D-Led, before we get into the Falcons, we just want to go around and ask this question of everyone. We see that the Big Ten has signed an $8 billion contract for rights, and Tree is always very happy being, a happy fan of everything Michigan. And with the NILs, soaring daily, is college football, man, going to kill the golden goose? I mean, because I think that a lot of people watch college football because they don't feel like, even though we know it's been around for a while, but they don't feel like the money and being so much about the money is in college football like it is obviously playing professional. Do you think if this continues to grow, this money continues to grow, that we're going to see a, almost killing the golden goose where people start to lose interest? Gil, I'm going to ask you first.
Okay, yeah, Reverend. No, I don't think so. The football has been growing. The money has been there. Nobody was complaining when these coaches were getting $1 million contracts. And now they're just being able to spread the money to the players over the table as opposed to under the table. So good luck to the players and good luck to college football. I think, by doing everything in the open now should allow the game to grow and allow the players to benefit from the growth of the game, just like the coaches have benefited from the growth of the game.
Mr. Tyrone Poole, you've been there, done that. Your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I agree with D-Led. It's long overdue. The NILs, I wish they'd have had the NILs when I was in college, man. I probably would have been banking. Being a first round draft pick coming out of an HBCU. Oh my goodness. Bluebird is in Fort Valley, so I probably would have had some sponsorship from Bluebird, the busing company. But as long as they have regulations, which I think that's the biggest thing they're trying to, the hurdle they're trying to clear is to make sure that they regulate that thing correctly, which I'm pretty sure they knew that it was going to come to this anyways. It's kind of like Bitcoin, at some point, regulations have to come in to try to steady the boat. But I won't be surprised if you start to see the money go down to high school, which it already has. To a point. You just haven't seen it maximized, but it's going to go from the pros to the college. It's going to filter down to the high schools and middle school. So, football's a big business.
Oh, no doubt. Mr. Tree Dolman, your thoughts about this? Is it going to kill the golden goose or just making it grow, grow, grow?
I agree with D-Led and Tyrone. I don't see it being a problem at all. And everybody loves football. I'm excited. I've been asking for college players to get paid since I've been in college. And so to finally see that they're getting paid, I think it's phenomenal. I also, like Tyrone, wish that we had this available when I was playing in college because, oh my goodness, I know I would have definitely had some NIL deals. And I'm just excited for these players. Some people are saying that they're getting too much money. I don't think so. They're getting paid off of their name, their image, their likeness, and their talent. So I don't see a problem with it.
Can I ask a question? This is for everybody here. I think, I don't know who the kid is, but I think he's still maybe in high school. But they're saying that if he continues to mature like he's doing, he could end up like having like a $9 million NIL deal. So my question is, does this kind of put a damper on the NFL with all of the worry about injuries and everything like that, so that players can get their money early? You know, if I can get $9 million before I even graduate college, I'm like, why do I need to go to the pros unless I just want extra money? I could take $1 million of that and invest it, and I don't need to go to the pros. I could live the rest of my life from 22 being a business person, which that's why we play the game, is to make the money. Those that love the game play it, but because they love it, but also to make money. So my question is, if the NILs start to get higher in college, will that deter kids from saying, hey, I want to go to the pros? Or maybe they go to the pros and play 2 or 3 years, get a little bit more money, then call it quits.
I would like to go first to answer that one.
You're on.
I personally do not think that it will, because when you are a true athlete, you're not doing it for the money, you're doing it for the love of the game. And you want to be known as the best of the best. And the only way to do that is to go to the NFL, where the best of the best play, win championships, build that legacy. Because in college, yeah, you can be great in college, but the NFL, we all know, is a different step and a huge step up from college level football. And so I think that athletes will want to go to the NFL. Athletes will want to make a name for themselves in the NFL and break records in the NFL. So those are my thoughts. I don't see it definitely doing that when you're going for athletes.
Let's take a look at social media. Fantasy Football League GOAT Strategy says once NIL regulations come in, the student athletes may have to revisit the forming of a union like the Northwestern players attempted a few years back. Well, D-Led, you know, you're in the law business. What do you think about that? The idea that players might have the opportunity, or might want to even go back to a union and maybe, like Clyron said, not even try to go to the pros. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that would be probably for uniformity purposes only, because you're going to have uneven playing fields. The kids in the Big Ten with the $70 billion contract, they're going to be able to get a little bit more money than, say, the kids out in the Southwestern Conference territory. By unionizing the whole college playing field and landscape, you may even the playing field, but spread the dollars out more evenly.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting. I don't think, to get back to Tyrone's question, I don't think it's going to be a situation where guys, you're going to have what you might have, Tyrone. I think you might see guys doing what we saw a couple of years ago. We had a rash of guys that retired early, after they kind of got, I'm not sure, you have to tell me how many years you have to play to get a pension. I guess it's 5 years. What's the number of years, the minimum, before you can get NFL pension, Tyrone?
I think about 3 years.
Okay.
About 3 years, I believe.
Right. So I'm thinking that you're probably going to see more
on the
guys
active roster. That's on the active roster.
Okay.
On the active roster, yes.
Gotcha. So I'm thinking that you're going to see more guys that are going to retire early. That, going to say, look, I've enjoyed playing the game. I've had a great time. But, now between the money I made in high school, the money I made in college, the money I made in the pros, I have a wife, I got kids. I don't want to be at, 42 or 38 saying I missed all this stuff that my kids did because I was playing football. So I do think you're going to see that. You're going to see, I think, more guys look to retire early, especially if this money, continues to climb the way it is right now.
So you're not gonna see any more Tom Brady. He's gonna be like the last of his kind, huh?
Bro, I mean, you might get somebody out there every now and then that is rolling right, that's maybe trying to catch him. You might get that, because at some point you're gonna see that. Maybe you might get the future GOAT trying to chase him down and might hang around. But the rest of the guys, they're gonna be look, man, we out. Peace. I got my money and I'm good. All right, D, let's talk a little Falcons football now. Let's shift our gears here. There's already a question for you out here from our good buddy Todd. Here it is. He says, Coach Smith acting like Bill Parcells on Ritter. What's going up? Matter of fact, let me get the preliminary question first. He said, hey, D-Led, why is Coach Smith on Ritter's case so bad, singling him out, yelling at him on national TV?
Because he was messing up the operation. And the coach said after the game that they're not waiting for Desmond Ritter. They're not treating him like a rookie. They're trying to get him ready to play. And he was messing up on the operation and getting the calls out and getting them out to the team and so forth. So, he went ballistic on him on television. But we saw last year where him and Ryan, went at it. Ryan was getting tired of plays coming in late. So he's like, man, so he started calling timeouts and going up on him. So, the coach is trying to train the young kid to, kind of be in his, mindset of, how he wants to operate. And the kid's not, there yet. So you get a little coaching there. Sometimes it's, a little bit over the top, sometimes very aggressive. And that's how the good coaches coach.
And backup question was, he said he's coaching him like Bill Parcells, riding him on Ritter. Okay, let's take a look at that question. He talks about Coach Parcells. I can remember it again because I got a little age on me, and D-Led, I'm sure you remember too. There was a young guy I remember when he got drafted, because I'm from that area, the fans booed crazily when Phil Simms, a future MVP in the Super Bowl from Morehead State, people like, who the blank is he, and where's Morehead State? And I can remember many times, and Simms talked about it, where Parcells just reamed them. But looked like it turned out all right. So I think Ritter's a guy who's got a lot of intestinal fortitude. One of the reasons I liked him is because when he played with Cincinnati, the two or three times I seen him play against top quality competition, obviously against Georgia in the Peach Bowl here, and then later against Alabama in the semifinals, the guy just looked like he wasn't scared. I mean, they got beat, but he looked like, okay, I'm up for the moment. So, I think, sometimes you got to coach them hard, right, Tyrone? Is that how it works? You got to coach them hard.
I agree, and D-Led has seen this so many times. These young guys, you really got to get them right. It's almost like taking a bag and you take a bat, and you just got to soften it up. You got to get them ready, because you got these young guys coming in. You got social media, and their heads already like somewhere else. So you got to get them right. You got to get them right. And in this game, this is a man's game. It's a man's game. And you get out there and you act like a child or a baby, then you'll find yourself on the sideline holding your helmet on one knee. So I like what Coach Smith is doing, as long as it stays within integrity of the coach-player relationship. You're supposed to get the best out of the player. And like D-Led said, if you're messing up, you know what? And me and Tree talked about this today. I was talking about her late husband, Chris Dolman. I said, when he was playing, I'm pretty sure, he was up in his teammates' face, screaming and shouting, whether it's on camera or what. I'm not thinking about that. Right now, I'm thinking about the game, and you are messing up. We just happen to be on national television. That's not my fault. But my purpose is to make sure that everybody, the 11 guys that step out there on that field, they doing what they're supposed to do. And likewise, the coaches should always take that same approach. So, there's nothing wrong with a player telling the coach in respect of that position, hey, come on, coach, let's get the plays in quicker. Come on. You're throwing off my rhythm. You're throwing off the team's rhythm. So it's a dancing balance right there between player and coach.
Tree, any comments? I saw you kind of smiling a little bit in the background. Any comments about, getting coached up hard by the rookie?
Yeah, I agree with what's happening. First of all, football, we all know, is not a soft game. It's not a soft sport. So this is a tough game. You need to get with the program, or like Tyrone said, you go be sitting on the bench with your knee down and your helmet off. But you have to get him ready. And who cares that he's a rookie? He has to come in, he has to get tough, he has to work hard, and he has to be ready to do what he needs to do. And like they said, doesn't matter if he's on national television or not. Get right or you're going to get told off. That's the way it is in sports. I don't believe in being soft or babying anybody. That's not the way you produce champions, and that's not the way you produce the best of the best. If you want to be the best of the best, then you need to be able to take it. And when you do wrong, you need to be told that you've done wrong and you need to correct it. There's no soft baby talk in football, and also I don't do it in volleyball or basketball either. So
can I ask D-Lit this question about the Falcons? I'm watching their preseason game against the Jets. Now, I don't know what you saw with the second unit and everybody else that came in after the starters sat down, but I didn't like, what I saw from the guys that were not starters, especially on defense. I'm like, they just gave up too many catch and run plays, and usually that's because somebody's out of position. So, D-Lit, what was your thoughts about or your impression with the guys second who possibly would be backups and third string special teams? What were your thoughts about their play?
Yeah, I said that, a team that was looking for depth didn't find any last night in East Rutherford. These guys get a chance to play and step forward and, catch and run to Lawrence Cager. That was a touchdown. You got the third string quarterback out there who's been playing tight end all summer, so you knew that wasn't going to work out too well. But you want to see the guys get in position and make some plays and hit somebody. But, they gave up too much, 21 unanswered points. One of them was a sack, strip, fumble, return. So, but the other thing was just bad football, Tyrone. So bad that the coach apologized to the media for having to watch it in the second half. It was just not very watchable football on either side of the ball for the Atlanta Falcons, a team that's looking to find some players, but we didn't see much last night from those players. 30 on down, the top 30 players. Once you got into the 40s and 50s, so that means some of these guys are going to be on the team. It's a rebuild where $60 billion of money is not being spent on the team this year. And it showed. A lot of the folks in New York were telling me, hey, D-Lad, it's going to be a long season, buddy. We're sorry for you. And, or they would say, hey, D-Lad, we'll see you in Arizona. The Jets and the Falcons, it was a joke.
Yeah.
And they've seen a lot of bad football in New York. So they were not impressed with the Atlanta Falcons at the practices, and certainly not impressed with that second half show and on Monday Night Football of all places.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. I do, now when it comes to the Jets, I do like their helmet now. I do like that green. I love that green. And so that's the one thing they got going for them is their helmet. But on that Cager play, I want to say this. On that play, why that play broke down, okay? They were in man-to-man. We know that. And they got an in and out call. And yeah, so when a guy who was on the line of scrimmage, which he should have been impressed. If you got an in and out call, he should have been off. So they can let the receivers basically determine who's going in and who's going out. But I believe because he was up in press, it got all miscombobulated. And when Cager cut across, he should have gone to that inside DB, but because he was still on that guy who was on the line of scrimmage, boom, the play broke down. So I'm pretty sure DP said, hey, that wasn't my fault, guys. That was your fault. We told you not to get up in press, and you got up in press anyway. So you won't be on the team.
We got another question from social media. Todd's asking D-Led a question. He says, hey, matter of fact, Todd, hold that question. We got to take a quick little 15-second break. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Don't go nowhere, please. Thank you, and thank you.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. We me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports.
All right, that's right. Charles Woodson said you should be on here. Y'all should watch the Real Talk Sports Show. Just
I'm glad that you cut the commercial short, and I was just over here jamming.
Hey, listen, that's one of my favorite commercials. Y'all know when I come out the break, if I have my shades on, I'll be back here jamming. But let me try to get it right here. All right, for those of you just tuned in, again, you're watching the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons. Right above me is the embedded beat writer for the Atlanta Falcons, Mr. D. Orlando Ledbetter. Right next to him, two-time Super Bowl champion Tyrone Poole. And right beneath and next to me is the queen, Miss Tree Dolman. All right, guys, we're wrapping up here in our final segment. We're talking Falcons, and more Falcons. Again, if you're feeling like, hey, I can get on the air and say something, well, here, I'm going to put it right up here. Here's the link. You can come on. It's just like Zoom, and you can join us. Here you go right here. Bam! Just copy and paste that link. Come on in. If you don't want to put your face on, you should look, man, I'm greasy or whatever. No worries. Just go ahead and put the screen on. Y'all put too much Vaseline on and you be shining. Don't have to worry about it. Just leave your avatar on and you can just come on and we can hear you. And one more time, that's the link right there to join us and have a good time. All right. Lots of stuff going on as far as social media delays. So I'm going to get back to that so we can ask a couple of comments as we go into the home stretch. John asking the question, hasn't seen the kid from Montana State much. Is he injured? Anything wrong with him?
No, he was injured. He didn't play against Detroit. Reverend had a hamstring injury. He did play last night against the Jets. I just looked it up since you prompted me here. He had 32 snaps, 56% of the defensive snaps. So he played a little bit more than half the game yesterday. I didn't see him make a play. I did my stats wrap up last night. He wasn't in the top 3 tacklers. So there's a bunch of guys with 1 and 2 tackles. So he played a lot last night. And, I'm writing in the second half. I got to have my story ready to go at the buzzer. So I got to go back and look at him to see. But if he did something, and made a big play, we would have known something. So he kind of played 32 quiet snaps last night and his first action in the NFL. And, he's a guy that they took over Nakobe Dean. So a lot of people are, keep an eye on this kid to see if he can play and if he could translate that Montana State ball to the NFL.
Yeah, I was kind of baffled about it. Go ahead, Tyrone.
I was going to ask D-Led a quick question. With the final cuts coming down on the 30th, every NFL team got to go from 80 to 53. That's a big chopping block, man. Mm-hmm. Is there anybody, D-Led, that you're like, wow, maybe the Falcons, that guy could have a possibility of not making the squad? Maybe the Falcons could use that guy. I know that's a big, like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but that 53, going from 80 to 53, it's going to be a lot of players out there.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's be my Sunday story. I'm going to do that cut. I'm going to cut them down on Sunday for the AJC readers. I'm working on it all week. And I don't know what to do with Jalen Mayfield. He's looked horrible again, but teams will keep around a 3rd round pick. But sorry about that, Miss Tree. I know he's a Michigan guy and everything, but I don't see anything there. I would pull him back to put him back at tackle. They tried to make him a guard. He ain't a guard. So, but I don't know if you cut him and try to get him to the practice squad or not. He's a big, good-looking kid, but I just see him jumping off sides, holding penalties. I don't see him pancaking anybody. So he's somebody that's going to be on the bubble. But, when I was with the Packers, Ryan Wolf was like, hey, once we find out you can't play, we cut you. If they didn't care if you was 2nd round pick, 1st round pick, whatever. So they're like, hey, we've seen enough. He can't play. Cut him. So I don't know. The old Falcon administration would keep those guys around. Deidre Sanat, Jalen Collins, Duke Riley. They found out they couldn't play and they keep them around. You got to cut them guys and go get somebody off somebody else's roster that can help you. So that's going to be one. One that's going to make it is D. Alford from little Tusculum College, a Canadian kid. He's not Canadian. He's from Griffin, Georgia. So, Rayfield's the whole time. But he played in the Canadian League out of Tusculum, was an all-star up there, and he's doing great. So he added on 20 pounds. He was 160. He's covering in the slot, covering outside, and he comes up and hits. So he's a kid I think is gonna make the team. And then Jalen Mayfield, I don't know how you keep him around.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit I saw from D. Alford. I told Tyrone, it's just like AJ Terrell. It's funny how some guys, they don't care whether it's practice, don't care whether it's live. It's like, they're like, you're not coming here. And that's what D. Alford, every practice, like every ball, every rep, he's like, no, you're going to have to try to do something to make a play on me. So, yeah, man, he looks like he's the real deal. Now, they're going to play him in the slot like a nickel. Where are they going to play him?
He's been playing left outside, but the last couple of weeks they've been trying to ease him into the slot.
Okay.
Because they need a nickel back. Isaiah Oliver's not going to be ready to go right away with that knee. So Isaiah's been working some at safety. So D. Alford's going to have a shot to win that nickel back spot.
Tree, you got a question for D-Led?
Well, I want to hear more of what he was saying about the people that he think are going to make the roster or not. That's what I'm looking forward to, because we know, like Tyrone said, when they have to cut down to the 53, that's when football really starts. That's why I don't really pay a lot of attention to preseason football. Most of the guys that are playing are not going to be on the 53-man roster. So that's just where my head is right now.
I think D-Led's only going to give us about one nugget because I think he's got
right. I know, because he's writing his story.
Oh,
right.
no, I got some more. No problem. y'all family, so we'll write it right here on the air right now.
You the man, sir.
Rick Leonard, the backup tackle, not doing too much. I can see him getting cut. German Affetti, a former first-round pick, he got the kid killed on that screenplay yesterday. He's supposed to be out and hit the D-back. He runs right by the D-back. D-back comes up and picks the kid up and body slams him. So, he just showed he can't play in space anymore. So, Kobe Goss said he's a guard that's doing pretty good. You got a good backup guard there. I've been saying that center all along, they're going to get a ball to Drew Dahlman because that's their draft pick. They picked him in the 4th round over Hennessy, who was picked by the former administration. So that's it. And then running back, I wanted to see my man Caleb Huntley from Locust Grove. I want to see him do something, but running behind them bad lines, man, that's tough. He hasn't been able to do too much. So I think he's coming back to the practice squad. And wide receiver wise, they cut Geronimo Allison today, Auden Tate. There's some. They might keep the soccer guy. And I see what's up with London. He's not hurt bad. My guy, Dr. Child, looked at the injury, and one of the Falcons told us up in New York that he could have played. He was up there, but I didn't see him. So they said he could have played, and they just held him out for precautionary reasons. So that means he's probably in a hip to ankle cast.
One more question here from Sosa. I have a question here, a statement here from our guys from Fantasy Football Strategies. He said Kyle Pitts and Rashad Evans look like they're two lone Falcons that really might have a big season. What do you think about Rashad Evans? People haven't been saying a whole lot about him. How's he look at that? Because he's playing the inside linebacker, right?
Oh, yeah, he's going to get a lot of action. People going to try to run the ball on the Falcons, and he's going to have to make sure they can't. Kyle Pitts will get it. He's going to get the ball. That's their main offensive weapon, him and Cordarrelle Patterson. So those are two good observations for the fantasy folks.
No doubt.
Let me say another observation. See, D-Led, what you think about this, or the panel. When Marcus Mariota was in at quarterback, and I'm talking about him and Ritter, I saw where Kyle Pitts had to wait on the ball. And then I saw where Ritter, he hit the receivers and they were like on the run. Is that kind of like something that could be an issue? Because I saw that a couple times where Mariota, he throws the ball and the receiver's kind of like waiting for the ball, so to speak. I'm like, is that he's trying to pick up the offense, which he was already in it, in Tennessee. So I'm like, what did you see? What are your thoughts about that, D-Led?
Yeah, he underthrew Pitts on that ball. I thought he was flat-footed on that one. You know, that was one you wanted to drive out there and let him go get it. You know, as an old quarterback, you know, I hate it when I know what an underthrow looks like. Let's just say that. So I'm like, man, no, that was one you just lay it on out there and let your guy go get it, and that's 6. So yeah, but my problem too was the third down on the third series, and it's a slant route, and he's behind Zacchaeus on the slant route. So I'm like, no, you pro quarterback, you gotta. That's easy money. The slant route, you gotta be able to be on point with that one, you know. But you know, that's what they said. You know, inaccuracy was the issue with him. Same thing with Ritter. So I can see why they're coaching Ritter so hard, because they know he's got the better tools than Mariota. And the other thing, you know, the old Tennessee coaches I know told me to watch is how much shotgun they do, because that's all Ritter wants to do. That's all Mariota wants to do, is play in the shotgun and run around and do the RPOs and play the Oregon spread stuff, which, you know, that ain't going to win, you know, titles in the NFL. So, you know, at some point you got to get on the center and knock somebody off the line of scrimmage and you know, running RPOs and, you know, throwing those one look passes. You know, about the 4th week, everybody's going to be jumping on that.
Yeah, that's the one thing I've been concerned about, is that even in practice, he seems to tuck and run quite a bit. And the other thing I noticed in practice is that already he's not showing the inclination to get down. And I'm thinking to myself, that's a bad sign, because if you're not doing that in practice, you know what I mean, where you're not going to be contacted, old habits, they die hard. Take it from a guy who's got some. So I'm thinking to myself, hey, man, it might be a situation where, as much as I like him personally, because he really is a nice guy.
Yeah.
And he really is a team guy. And I think he can play professional football. I'm not trying to say the guy is a bum, but I'm saying that his tendency to fall back on, like you said, kind of what you know. Yeah, man. It just seemed like he hasn't grown as much as I thought that I was going to see from a guy who's been around the league for a few years.
Yeah, no.
I'll say this. Go ahead, D-Led.
Well, yeah, I'm just gonna say against Detroit, he could have ran out of bounds, but he comes back inside and runs into Aiden Hutchinson.
Right.
Yeah. And he's never started all 16 games, so you know, it's because of decisions like that is why he hasn't started all 16 games.
Yeah. And I don't know whether that's something maybe the Falcon quarterbacks are in competition with one another to see who can get the most yards when they run, because I saw Franks in that same Jets game. You know, yeah, he ran over a couple of DBs from the Jets and knocked them down. But when it comes to that real game and you get them real dogs out there, he tried it if he want to. It could be another Bledsoe.
Not another Bledsoe, but Bledsoe, that man, I mean, I know that's how Tom Brady came in the league, but buddy, he almost got killed. I mean, anytime we talk about crack sternum, buddy, I mean, same thing happened to what's his name, Steve McNair. We talking crack sternum, bro. You get up out of here. That's serious business, man. So I mean, yeah, that's the one thing I've taken away from him. He just seems to still want to stick his head in the way a quarterback just cannot. And you guys know I like the quarterback to run, but I'm like, hey, I need you to run to get a first down. I need you to run to extend the play. I'm not trying to, you know, have you see if you can be, you know, Bronco Nagurski out there putting your helmet in somebody. I'm not trying to do that for my quarterback. Let's go to social media a couple more times there. Let's go to our friends again, the fantasy football guys. You're saying the more Pitts lines up in the slot, the better the Falcons will be. What do you think, D-Led? You like him primarily in the slot, or you like to see him on the outside?
No, I like him moving around. I don't like him in one spot. I want him in tight end. You know, block a couple plays, but for the most part, we're going to run a route out of there, because I'm going to get a safety or a linebacker from the tight end spot. If I'm in the slot, I got the nickel back, which is a mismatch too. They want to do that with London. I mean, I don't really outside. You got a corner. You saw him run past the poor little corner from Bryce Hall from the Jets. But yeah, I want him in the backfield too, because then you know, you got a linebacker. I want him that way. So you're gonna have to move him around to all sectors.
And I'll say this too. What I would do if I'm a defensive coordinator and if I see Pitts in the slot, what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk a linebacker out there and I'm going to chip him. I'm going to chip him and let a safety cover him, just like they do on offense. When they got a defensive end that they got to prepare for, they had that running back to chip him, and then that running back goes out into his route. So I had that linebacker get his hands on him and still be able to play the run from the outside. So, again, like D-Led said, I agree. You want to move him around and try to find those matchups to where you could take advantage of the situation with his abilities.
Tree, any comments or questions?
No, I agree with what D-Led and Tyrone said. I would move him around as well.
All right, now
That worked for the Falcons' advantage.
go ahead.
Yeah,
No,
I got one for D-Led before he
works
gets
for the
off.
Falcons' advantage.
Say it again, Trey. I didn't hear you. Say it again one more time.
Oh, I was just saying, I think that works for the Falcons' advantage.
Oh, yeah, moving pitch around, no doubt. No doubt. Tyrone, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, this is my last question for D-Led. This is kind of like a tail-end question here. The first 4 games, how do you see the Falcons? They got the Saints, Rams, Seahawks, and the Browns. What's the record? First 4 games.
1-3. 1-3. I don't know which one though. They might could steal the Saints game. Seattle's pretty bad though. I watched them against the Bears. That was Coach Pete's they got Geno Smith up there throwing the thing. And Drew Lock is sick right now. So yeah, Seattle was not real impressive. So they'll be able to play with Seattle. You know, they're gonna go real hard at the Saints. Then you got you got the Rams in there. That's a mismatch. And the Browns is a mismatch because of the defense. And I like Jacoby Brissett. We saw Jacoby Brissett beat the Falcons when he was with the Colts. You know, he had Marlon Mack, the return of the Mack. But, Cleveland's got Nick Chubb and a defense, and that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for the Falcons to handle. So I got them beating Seattle, maybe stealing the Saints game. 2-2 is about the best you're going to do coming out of there against those, because Cleveland's got a stout defense and a running game, and they'll lean on that early in the season until they get, Deshaun back 11 games in.
Well, I know Jonathan loves to hear that because those 2 games put him closer to his 10-game prediction. Is he frozen?
No, I ain't frozen. I'm right here. See, D-Led, I don't know if you realize, but when you were talking, Tyrone and Tree were auditioning for the Crest toothpaste commercial because he said, hey, I don't know if they're going to win the game. All I saw was all them teeth saying, we going to do this stuff. That's okay. That's all right. That's all right. I can be mine. But, yeah, I saw a lot of teeth grinning and cheese. Oh, yeah, they might not win even 3 or 4 games. He's talking about 10 wins. Okay, that's all right. That's okay. I can take it like a man. It's like they were saying earlier, D-Led, about the coaching. Sometimes I have to tune up the players. Every now and then, the queen and the champion got to tune the preach up to make sure I'm straight. We're trying to get somewhere, so I don't mind. I don't mind. Mm-hmm. Well, it's really just looking at this team again. Obviously, they have a long way to go. Their starters have looked halfway decent. I want to ask another question about another guy that I talked about quite a bit, and I know you mentioned that the holes were pretty good, but Quadre Allison, it seems like they're giving him every opportunity to really try to be an impact player on this team. What are you seeing from him? Is he really going to be one or 2 guys right behind Cordarrelle Patterson, or is it just because he's had some nice lanes to run with?
Yeah, I think he's the 3rd running back behind Cordarrelle and Damian Williams. They wanted to have competition between Quadre, the rookie, Tyler Algier, and our guy Huntley. And Quadri's been the best one, and he's playing on special teams. So I fully expect them to keep him and the rookie running back. Caleb looks like he's headed to the practice squad. But I don't see a big role in this offense for him, though, Reverend. I think, if he can reclaim that short yardage role and, if something happens to Cordarrelle, then he's more of the power back or Damon Williams being the 3rd down back. Haven't seen that much from Avery Williams, the converted punt returner. He hasn't impressed me much out of the backfield. So I don't know where do you keep him at? He's a returner, but he's got to help you somewhere. So I don't know how he makes the team.
Well, like you said, again, it's going to be very interesting looking at this team. It does look bad that their second and third team players look so bad. I was hoping we get a little bit more out of them, but they look terrible. One last thing before I let you go. What have you seen? We talked a little bit, obviously, about the offensive line, especially with Mayfield still seeming to be struggling. What have we seen on the defensive line? Do you see a defense now that has kind of really grabbed the whole of Dean Pease concept, or you still think we're missing one or two pieces to play the defense that Dean Pease is trying to run here in Atlanta?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen him do anything, Reverend. I mean, Grady got after it up there against the Jets, had a couple sacks. Tyquan Graham, they said he's doing a good job, but I haven't seen him make any plays yet. Audie got to the quarterback, but then hit him in the legs. Can't do that. Lorenzo Carter's a pro. We'll need to see, he needs to go ahead and bust out, have a double-digit sack season, get him some money because he's on a 1-year deal. My old buddy from Norcross High. So they looked the part, Reverend, but I need to see him make some plays here. I want to see some quarterbacks on their butt. Let's throw some people out the way and knock some folks around. And, all this scheme and all that stuff, that's great. But, if you're not in position and you're not hitting nobody, what good is the scheme?
Well, no doubt. Well, I'm glad you mentioned Lorenzo Carter. We're going to wrap up with this as we got a few minutes left. I got to tell you, I don't know if he can bring the energy to the field, but when I watch him do the practice, the guy looks like he's having a good time all the time. I mean, he's talking, he's laughing. He looks like a kid brought home. Maybe that's the case. But if he can bring that kind of energy to the field and convert that to a few sacks, he really could be the missing Energizer bunny for this Falcons team.
Yeah, no doubt. The one guy to look at, and I know Miss Treat knows him, is Charles Harris. He was here for a couple years, former first-round pick with the Dolphins. He was here 1 year.
Okay.
And he went to the Lions last year and busted out with double-digit sacks, and so they had to pay him some money. So maybe Lorenzo can bust out here. I mean, they've been looking for somebody to get after the quarterback, and then maybe he can get him some of this money that's opening up next year on the salary cap. Lorenzo needs to go on and get him some of that money.
Well, what we're looking for, brother. Well, speaking of that, we all want to try to get some money from somewhere. I don't know where it's coming from, but the bottom line is, I can tell you this. We're going to let everybody know how you can find out more about our guests. You know how we do it. Mr. D. Orlando Ledbetter, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Reverend. You can find me on Twitter at DOrlandoAJC, on Instagram at DOrlandoLed, and all of my articles are on AJC.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for reading. Thanks for listening.
Well, before you go, you know what we
do. You the man, baby. You the man.
All right. Great seeing Miss Tree up in Canton. She was decked out in a beautiful black dress. Stunning the crowd up there.
Thank you. It was great seeing you too, D-Led.
Likewise.
So you already know the queen gonna look good, sir. You already know.
Yeah,
all right, D-Led. Till next time, sir.
All righty. Take care.
All right, Mr. Tyrone Poole, the floor is yours.
Well, you know what? What I first want to do, I want to encourage everybody. If you're in the Atlanta area, Macon, Georgia, Middle Georgia area, I need you to come on out and support our play. That's right. Yours truly. I'm going to be in a play, actually my third play, theatric play on stage live. The play is called Aunt Sally's Birthday Bash. Okay, so if you want to learn more about it, please email me at just go to my website, TyronePoole38.com, and you can send me an email, TyronePoole38.com. But if you're in the Macon, Middle Georgia area, Atlanta, come down. It's a nice play, phenomenal play. It's laughter. It'll make you cry. It'll make you think. And most importantly, you get an opportunity to see yours truly act. So not only did I play football and I show my highlights behind me, but you get an opportunity to see me on stage. So come on down to Macon, people, and watch me act.
Mr.
Yeah,
Tyrone
break a leg, Tyrone.
I know, right?
Come on, bro. Do it right. Tyrone Poole, we appreciate you, brother. Until next time. Be blessed. All right, Miss Tree Dolman, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. You can find me on all social media at It's Latresa, as well as Ms. America International 2022. I do want to say that the fall season is approaching, so look forward to our fall collection that will be released in September for our candle and cosmetic company, El Shimon. And hope everybody has a great rest of the day.
That's what I'm talking about. Till next time, see you. Everybody, we appreciate you for watching the show. And we want to give a big shout out. I forgot to do that during the broadcast. We want to do that definitely for those who are listeners who are back at WIGO, the legendary WIGO, the all new pace setter, 1570 AM. We are back on the air, streaming the broadcast simultaneously. We do the video. So again, big shout out to the listeners at WIGO. And we appreciate you. Look, guys, you know, I am a real live minister, so I always want to encourage you. If you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, your personal Savior, please, man, please circle it on today. Why? Nobody loves you like Jesus, not your mom, not your auntie, not your bae, not your boo. And here's the thing. He came here and died for not only your sins, but the sins of all mankind. So if you repent of your sins and believe that he died and rose from the dead, two wonderful things will happen. Number one, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number two, you become an adopted child of God with all the rights therein. That means that you now can look at God like your father or like a parent, a good parent. Go to him with anything that you need or desire. And according to his will, he'll give it to you. And number two, if and when you die, you get to go to a happy place called heaven, where there's none of the following: no pandemic, no protest, no bad people, no pain, no sorrow, no suffering. You never die, you never get old. And the beautiful thing is you get to hang out and see face to face God, Jesus Christ, and all the people who love God and love you right up there. It never gets dark because the glory of God illuminates the kingdom, and you avoid an unhappy place called hell, where all of the following will be there that are not in heaven. So it's bad people, it stinks, it's dark, it's horrible, it's painful, and most of all, you're cut off from God, cut off from Jesus Christ and all the people you love forever and a day. I don't know about you, but I like option number one instead of option number two. All right, guys, until next time we see you again, God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your day or night. So long.
Bye.